Hello, thank you for joining me today, where we will talk about when to Sentinel and how to minimize the cost of the Sentinel platform. My name is Michael Brook and I am a cybersecurity consultant at Crayon. Firstly, if we look at what a basic security posture looks like, and this is not extensive, this is really for our small to mid-sized business. What are the things that we need to have in place? Well, firstly, we need to make sure we have an incident plan in place and that we're testing it. You must have an identity security measure in place, such as multi-factor authentication and conditional access policies on top. You need to harden those endpoints, running EDR, attack surface reduction, application control, and other elements to restrict the opportunity for malware to manifest on an endpoint. You need to ensure that your users are trained and educated and know what is a phishing email, know not to click, but more importantly, know what to do when they do click on something that they shouldn't have. Then you need to make sure that operating systems, as well as the applications, are up to date on the devices, on the servers, on everything in your organization. Next, minimize the number of admin users in the organization. Users probably don't need to be local admins, and third-party providers to your platform almost invariably do not need to be global admins. They do not need to have elevated admin rights to do work for you. So check why and check what it is that they actually need. Next, email and web filtering needs to be turned on, because the number one attack vector for small to mid-sized business is email. And then lastly, making sure that you have regular backups, that they are immutable, ideally they are offsite as well, and that you test them. This provides a level of business continuity, meaning that if something does go down, you can quickly find out what happened and bring it back online. And how does this fit into the story of Sentinel? Well, Sentinel helps where we've highlighted here. So firstly, it helps with understanding what happened within an incident, because that's going to help us dig back and find out where it started from, what machines are affected, how it came into the organization, and provide an outcome based on that. But also, if we're looking at the NIST framework, for example, where is it going to help? Well, it helps us identify assets within the organization. It helps protect, it helps detect, and it helps respond to activities that are happening at a time of an incident, but also when we're doing threat hunting and looking for indicators of compromise as well. Firstly, Microsoft provide a free platform for understanding an incident, seeing an alert, and then being able to do something with it. So correlating all of the telemetry and then being able to run an automated task based on that. It's called Defender 365 or Defender XDR, because XDR is the term that the industry uses now. And what does this do? This is going to help you across all of those Microsoft M365 platforms. So identity, endpoint, application, email, collaboration. Collaboration being Teams, SharePoint, OneDrive as well. It's going to help understand or help you understand when an incident is happening across a multiple number of devices or a whole lot of user accounts. It's going to group those up into an incident if they are similar, and it's going to let you understand what it is that has happened and provide you with mechanisms in which to recover and recover that incident. It provides really good protection against activities or any sort of threat actions against your organization. When would you use Defender XDR? Firstly, you're really only focused on your device identity, collaboration, and data. You're cloud first, not a lot of on-premise going on. You don't have a whole lot of network devices, a whole lot of firewalls and things that you need to collect telemetry data from. You don't have a requirement to keep log data for a long period of time. And you really are only looking to be able to go back 1 month for detailed data and then 6 months for alert information. And realistically, for many small to mid-sized businesses, this is probably going to be enough, especially where the identity is the primary or the perimeter in that organization, such as orgs that are cloud first, devices aren't domain joined. They tend to be working with Entra ID, Intune, and cloud platforms first. So, when to use Sentinel as opposed to Defender XDR or Defender 365? Firstly, when we're not just an M365 environment. So we have other security platforms maybe. We might be using CrowdStrike or Sentinel-1. We might be using Netscope or ForcePoint. Might be using Proofpoint or something else as an additional layer in our security stack. Well, Defender XDR cannot take that data in, whereas a SIEM such as Sentinel is able to collect and ingest that information. Also, you may have a lot of network devices, you may have firewall devices, and you may have IoT and other devices in your organization that cannot be ingested into Defender XDR. Well, then Sentinel is going to be the better choice for that. It provides much deeper investigation of what is happening within your organization or within a cyber incident as well, because it has more telemetry data in it. Because you do have your network device logs, your firewall logs potentially, you can start to see more information around how a threat has come in and where it has gone within your organization. And customers, in some cases, are required to log information for a period of time. This is also where Sentinel is going to be the better outcome or the better choice for your customer. So choose Sentinel when you are going past the M365 environment. You've got more infrastructure, more network out there. You've got third-party tooling, third-party cybersecurity solutions, as well as your Microsoft stack. Then you're going to need to have a system like Sentinel to be able to take that log data in. As I said previously, if your customer must keep log data for a period of time, then Sentinel is going to be the best mechanism for them to be able to do that. If you are going to go down the Security Copilot route, more data is always going to be better for an AI technology or large language model such as Security Copilot. So having Sentinel in place is going to help with being able to get better data and a more full insight of a threat or an incident that has happened within your organization. So there are free ingest sources for Sentinel as well, and I've highlighted some of these here. Now, they may be 30 days or 90 days. This you should check before you turn on Sentinel, but things like your Azure activity logs, as you can see, Sentinel Health and Office 365 audit logs are able to be ingested into Sentinel. As well as that, if you're using Business Premium, and I think E3 as well, you are able to use a connector to get Defender 365 alert data into Sentinel too. So this is not the log data, but this is the alerts and things that are happening. And typically, the sources that these are coming from are things like your Defender for Office 365, Defender for Identity, Defender for Cloud Apps, and a Defender for Endpoint. And then if you are running M365, E5, or E5 security, or the education version, which is A5, or the small screen, if your users have a mobile device, the F5 license, which allows for a 5 megabyte of log data per user per day from the devices that they're using, which can really help keep the cost down of deploying Sentinel in that case. And that log data, as you see here, is Azure Active Directory data or Entra ID, Defender for Cloud Apps, information protection logs, and the M365 advanced hunting data. As always though, make sure that you set up cost limits and make sure that you check what your allowances are so that you're not going to end up with an unexpected cost there. Finally, we promised to talk about how you can help reduce those costs as well. Firstly, we know that Sentinel is a really good SIEM. It is cloud native, it scales, it works really fast. but we do not want you to overspend on it. We want you to keep costs as low as you possibly can. Firstly, use basic logs or auxiliary logs for high volume data sources like firewalls and networks. Why? Because the data is less useful. It can still be useful, but it is less useful and it has a lot of volume in it. So you don't want to be storing all of that within your Sentinel workspace. Set up cost management alerts. Do this across anything that you're using within Azure or any cloud platform, because sometimes things can happen. Tasks can start to kick off that end up bringing a big cost to the organization. So set up those cost limits unless what you're doing is mission critical and cannot be down. And in that case, make sure that you can see what the costs look like quickly. And then lastly, enable the least number of connectors that you possibly can and the least amount of data that you need, that you can possibly enable for the outcome that you need. For example, if you are collecting data from a network device or a firewall device, do you need to take all of the informational alerts? Probably not. You're probably just looking for warnings or criticals or other things. So thank you for running through this presentation with me today, and please reach out if we can help you in any other way. And thanks again.